Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It's your girl, Nicci, creator of the Glow Code. And I'm here going live on YouTube. I don't usually do this, but as we're heading into a new year, I'm turning over a new leaf. We're going to start some new things. And one of the new things that I personally need to start is being more consistent with creating content and communing with you guys virtually. So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Nicci Page. Like I said, I am creator of the Glow Code, the online space for around the way girls who are unashamed of the gospel, for fly girls who walk by faith, the believers, and the baddies, women just like you. So, I am a board certified coach. I am a practicing attorney and a writer, sometimes comedian. It just comes out sometimes. So what we are doing here is another episode of Savory and Sucka Free. Now, Savory and Sucka Free is where candid conversation meets flavorful faith. So we're going to be having real conversations about hot topics, about current events, about scripture, about our own experiences, testimonies. But we're going to be doing it all from the angle of the light. We're going to be discussing everything, always with a view toward how does this factor into faith. I don't want, this is not like a gossip, expose, take you down type of place. Like, there is so much of that on YouTube. It's kind of boring and tiring. So I want the Glow Code space to be a space where you can come and you can be uplifted. You can engage, you can be enlightened, we can be entertained, and we can have a good time. But we can also do so on a higher level. We can vibrate higher over here. You don't have to be slinging mud to be funny. You don't have to be slinging mud to be entertaining. I don't believe that. And so I think this is a space where I want to change the narrative. You don't have to be negative to be successful. So if you are a woman who is desiring that type of content, like you've had enough of the Real Housewives of wherever reviews, you've had enough of, this is the scandal, this is going on, and this person's pregnant by it. If you've had enough of that, if you want to wake up and have content that fulfills you and that uplifts you, but is also keeping it real with you, come on over here to the Glow Code. So today what we're going to be talking about is our senses and whether or not we are slaves to our senses. And I started thinking about this last night in a book that I was reading, and the book was saying that, like, our five senses, sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, that obviously these are things that we use every day in our daily lives. They're functions that help us kind of navigate our way through the world. But the book that I was reading was saying that the purpose of our five senses is also to sort of um, as a conduit for us to communicate with the Most High. It's as a conduit for us, our senses, for us to be able to for his love and his glory to be revealed to us through our senses. And so by that, I think what is meant, our sight, when we see the sky, when we see the stars, when we see the clouds, yes, that's pleasurable for us, but it's also a way that God is using our sight, our vision, our senses to reveal himself to us through nature. Same thing with our smell. If you ever, if you go to an arboretum or some type of garden or an orangery, and you smell like the trees and you're like, oh my gosh, that smells so good. That's nature. And in a way, that is God communing to us his glory and his power through his creation. So our senses are used as a sort of connection to the Most High. Same thing with our taste. If you've ever had a meal that was prepared with love for you, and when you taste, your grandma's sweet potato pie or whatever your thing is, when you taste it and you're just like, that tastes so good, that is an expression of God's glory and God's love, because what we're eating, hopefully, is coming from nature and something that he created. Personally, side note, I had this experience. I was in Italy maybe 10 years ago on my birthday, and I was at this restaurant in Florence. And at the time, I was probably 30, 32-ish. I don't know. But anyways, I was at a restaurant, and whatever I ordered, I felt like I had never tasted a tomato until that day. And clearly I've eaten tomatoes before, but I had never had a tomato that tasted so robust. Like, it tasted like not a tomato. It tastes like everything was inside this tomato. And so in that moment, I remember eating that and feeling like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I would kind of write that up as one of those experiences where through my sense of taste, I kind of had a whole like experience that kind of expressed to me like this is what a tomato was really supposed to taste like. So I don't know what we've been having back home in New York. I don't know what that was. This is a tomato, and this tomato is in a weird way communicating to me the glory of God and his creation, like so much flavor in this one little small cherry tomato. And so that is one way that I had experienced God's glory through my taste buds, through my sense of taste. And then obviously, one of the big ones is our sense of touch. I think this is one of the ones that we really need to discuss, because our sense of touch, when we get a hug, if we get a kiss, if someone holds our hand, if we're being comforted, someone touches our back, that's our sense of touch. And that is how we are communicating love to our loved ones. Okay, nobody ever calls me, and now people want to call me. Hold on, it's my mom. Hello? Hello? Okay, so she hung up. All right, sorry about that. She's gonna call back though, so just be prepared. So our sense of touch is one that we sometimes go astray with, because it is intended for us to express to one another love, and in expressing love to one another, it's us reflecting and revealing God's love through our sense of touch, when we hug, when we kiss, when we comfort. But in today's society and throughout history, a lot now though, because it's kind of promoted to abuse the sense of touch, we use our sense of touch often to gratify ourselves. So we are in a culture, and if we gonna keep it real, but this is Savory and Sucka free, so we got to keep it sucker free in our community, and you can interpret what I mean by our community however you wish. If you can pick up what I'm putting down, in our community, we have become very self-gratifying with the sense of touch, of just engaging in all kinds of physical activity just because it feels good, just because it feels good. And it has nothing to do with our connection with the Most High. It's not revealing or reflecting anything having to do with his glory. It's just us gratifying us, which is in a way us worshiping ourselves, which is a no-no. And so we have to, if we are going to be women of light, if we're going to be fly girls who are walking by faith, if we're going to be discerning, if we're going to be virtuous women, if we're going to be women who are out here being royal and regal, walking as daughters of the King, we have to be women who are not slaves to our senses, but women who are masters of our senses. And by that, I mean, it's not that we have to live this life where we don't eat, we don't smell, we don't see, we don't nothing, we just don't know. It's, yes, we engage in those things, but we do them all kind of guided by the word, guided by their true purpose, understanding the true function of each of those senses, so that we are masters of them as opposed to being slaves to them. So we're not going to be slaves to, again, our sense of taste. We're not just going to eat because it's food on the table. We know how to push a plate back. We know how to say, I'm full. Or even better, because we are masters of our senses, and this is something that your girl needs to work on, even if we are hungry, we are masters of our senses, so we can say, I'm going to choose not to eat. I'm going to choose to deny myself in this moment as a test to myself of how disciplined I can be, or as a way to control and subdue my flesh. I'm not eating today, even though I am hungry. And if anyone has ever fasted, sometimes you'll be hungry, and then after a while, it kind of just goes away. Like if you stop feeding it and paying it attention, it kind of just sort of trickles off and goes away. Now, I'm not advocating extreme, like I'm gonna go 60 days without eating, although there are, documented cases of people being able to do that, people who have reached a certain level of spiritual attainment. I'm not saying that you watching this necessarily needs to do this, but I am suggesting that, a 1 day fast, a 2 day fast, even if you're just going to do like a liquid fast, of just testing yourself, pushing your own boundaries of how disciplined you can be to subdue that sense, so that you are not in service to your sense of taste. And again, in our culture broadly, but also in our community on the micro level, many of us are slaves to our sense of taste, which leads to the obesity in our community, which leads to, people are addicted to food. The amount of food that we eat is kind of, if you look back historically, we eat way more food than people like used to eat. And again, I'm not a proponent of starvation or anything, but there's a whole wide kind of span between starvation and overeating. We can moderate a little bit. And so I think that's something that we as women who are attempting to walk in the light, we need to kind of look into being more disciplined with our sense of taste, with what we're eating, what we're choosing to eat, how much we're choosing to eat, how and if we are making fasting part of our kind of just normal weekly or monthly schedule. Um, again, with our sense of vision, what are we looking at? What are we watching? This is a big issue in our culture, again, because of the adult, I will say, industry of people who are addicted to seeing things that don't really reflect or reveal the Most High at all. They don't really glorify His kingdom at all. It's just gratifying flesh, and it always seems to go down a rabbit hole of negativity. So we need to be disciplined in all of our senses: what we're seeing, what we're tasting, the manner in which we're touching. We need to be masters of our senses and always have in mind, is what I'm seeing, is what I'm touching, is what I'm listening to, again, with the music that we listen to. And I'm guilty. Okay. Now I don't listen to too much of the rap now, but even the 90s rap that I used to, I mean, I listen to it and sometimes I'm like, ooh, that was a little bit much right there. So we have to really take note and be diligent and not just allowing things to enter into our brains, just being open to everything. We have to be on guard. We have to guard all of our gateways of what we're allowing inside of our minds, inside of our spirits, either through our eyes, through our ears, through what we're eating. So when we're listening to music, take a minute and think, like, is this song, what is it reflecting? What is it revealing? What is it feeding me? What are the nutrients in this song? Or are these just empty calories? And this is figuratively speaking. Does this song have any nutritional value? Or is this song, what I'm listening to, completely just empty calories? Is this all high fructose corn syrup? Is there any vitamin A, B, C, or D in this song? If not, should we be listening to it? Should we be weaning ourselves off of it? Should we be allowing our children to listen to the high fructose corn syrup music? And the thing about the music is we can see what it's manifesting in real life. We can see what constantly confessing negative things and allowing negative thoughts and images in our minds, how it is kind of being reflected in real life. So, as women of light who are mothers, sisters, aunts, let's be on guard for our own ears. Let's be on guard for the ears of our children. Let's make sure that what we're listening to um, does not master us, that we master what we allow inside of our ears. And what we should be listening to is the word, okay? What should be reflected to us in the music that we listen to is, again, the glory of God, the love of God, okay? The message of God, okay? And by God, I'm talking about the Most High God. I don't, there's lots of different words, lots of different names. I'm talking about the one true God, the Most High God, the Creator, the Master of the universe. And I'm coming to it from a biblical perspective. I think I have a couple slides I want to shoot up here. If you guys are watching this later and you have a comment, just drop in the comments, any questions that you may have. If there are any topics that you would like me to discuss going forward, any opinions that you have about anything that I've said thus far, feel free to drop it in the comments. I have already put up in the chat a link that I want you guys to click on, because I'm going to be trying to grow the community, the Gloco Collective, which will be the private membership community for the Around the Way girls who are walking by faith, women who really want a closer walk with God, women who really want to discover kind of their own innate God-given abilities, their own innate God-given royalty, so that they can deploy it in the earth. Because as I always say, the world is waiting for us to take our rightful place. It is time out for us to continue to live beneath our birthright. We are daughters of the King, and it's time for us to walk, talk, dress, show up like we are daughters of the King. And so that is what the Gloco Collective is about. There's going to be a 1-year incubator mastermind where for 12 months we're going to work together and workshop on what it means to be a daughter of the King. What are some of the biblical principles that are present in the kingdom that we need to be exemplifying? How do we cultivate, practice, and preserve those principles so that we can go out in the world and be living testimonies, to be living ambassadors of the kingdom, so that we can let our light shine, like literally in the earth. So if you are interested in joining and becoming a member, I'm looking for 40 founding members, and those 40 founding members are going to be able to join the private membership group at a ridiculous price point. But it's not really about, the mission is really about kind of changing the narrative. But just click the link in the chat and you will be on the list to become one of the 40 founding members and get all the perks associated with being a founding member. I'm going to play a little commercial about it later. But I'm just going to get to some of these slides and then I'm going to get out of here because I don't want to be talking forever. First of all, I'm supposed to have my lower third up there so y'all know who I am. Yes, Savory and Sucka Free Nicci page. You can find everything about me at www.niccipage.com. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as shown across the bottom of your screen. And also, click the links. You can subscribe to this page because I'm going to be coming to you more often. My goal is 3 times a week. So y'all, touch and agree with me on that. 3 times a week. We're going to try to get that done. But, as I said, I am a practicing attorney. So sometimes, my schedule, if my schedule permits. Slides. So let's see. All right. So I wanted to put this up here because when we talk about our senses, I feel like we have to be careful because we live in a culture that's very much about celebration of self. And, everything has to be in balance. Yes, celebrate self, but not self as in I alone am just wonderful. Celebrate self in that I am wonderful because I am created by God and because He thought enough of me to breathe life into me, that He thought enough of me to give me the abilities and the capabilities to become one with Him. So I'm celebrating myself in relation to Him, not me. And I think our culture is encouraging us on the me, I, all by myself, I'm great. And I think that is a trick of the enemy because it is taking something that is negative, but marketing it and branding it to you in such a way or to us in such a way that it seems good. And that's what he be doing. He is the king of the knockoff. Okay. Counterfeit is what he be about. And so we have to be tacticians and skilled in being able to cite a knockoff the same way as some sisters out here can see a purse, can see a chain, can see something and be like, that's not real, that's fake. I can tell because the stitching right here is to the left and the real one is to the right. We need to be that way with everything that we see out here in culture, everything that we see out here in the world. We need to be able to look at that and say, it kind of looks the same, but I can tell that's a knockoff. So we need to know his tricks and be able to see them. And the only way that we know kind of what the stitching is supposed to look like is by knowing the word. And so that is one of the things that we're going to be doing here at the Glow Code, is trying to find scriptural references, for all of our assertions, and scriptural references to point us in the right direction as we kind of walk through our daily lives, trying to reflect light. So what I was saying is, we live in a culture that's all about, self-care, love yourself. If it feels good, then you should do it. You deserve it, girl. Yes, girl, do this, do that. If you want to have 5 boyfriends, have 5 boyfriends. If you want to be sex positive, be out here, do it. If you want to wear it, go ahead and wear it. If it look good, that's all that matters. Like, we're in a culture that seems to be supposed to be empowering to women to just do whatever and control your body and flaunt it if you want to, and promiscuity is good and slut walk this, and it's sold as a positive. But if we're going to be discerning, virtuous women, if we are going to be daughters of the King, we have to take a step back and really analyze that and see kind of, is there a scriptural basis for that? If not, we should be questioning it. What are the results? What kind of are the effects? How is that working in society and culture? Are we better off or not? I'd say not. Um, but there was a scripture that kind of stood out to me as kind of showing that this is what has always happened, and this is because it is one of the tactics of the enemy to take something that is evil and present it as good. Okay, so this is Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So in culture, anytime we see something where something is promoted as a positive, but we know that that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So if the world is saying sexual freedom, sex positivity, you have sex with you have sex with you can do this and this and this and that. Sexual positivity and experience, it's great, it's freedom, it's a revolution, it's liberation, down with the patriarchy, whatever. It's presented to you as a positive, it's presented to you as progress. But if we are going to be daughters of the king, if we are going to be wise women, if we're going to be discerning women, if we're going to be successful, truly successful women, we have to take a step back and see, oh, wait a minute, there's a scripture about that. I know that that's not right. I know that me having sex with 10 different people in a week is not, like, in my gut, I know that that is not what's up. Um, and so I know that what you're selling is not the real thing. What you're selling is counterfeit. And I know where that comes from. That's a lie. And I know who the king of the liars is. So it's a no for me and it's a no for mine. So the world is almost encouraging us to be slaves to our senses. If it tastes good, eat it. If it looks good, keep watching it. If it feels good, no matter what it is, keep doing it. And this is a trick of the enemy. It is anti-biblical. It is not I don't think it's going to have the result of progressing anyone in a positive direction in their lives. Okay? So let's take charge of our senses. Let's be masters of our senses instead of being a slave to our senses. So, yes, enjoy food in moderation. Enjoy food knowing that it is an expression, just having the food, an apple, an orange, a banana, broccoli, whatever, is an expression of God's love for us and creating a world that is designed to serve us. So when we're eating, that's why we're going to say our grace and we're going to thank God for providing for us, for providing just such a plethora and so many things for us. It's not like we're just eating, he only gave us gruel to eat every day. He gave us such a diversity of tastes, such a diversity of combinations of foods that we can have. And that is an expression of love. So when we're eating, be eating with a mindset of, yes, this is to fortify and strengthen my body. And this food is a gift from the Most High God for me. It's an expression of His love. When whatever we're looking at, be discerning. Is this what I'm looking at reflecting or revealing anything positive, reflecting or revealing any type of light to me, or am I watching darkness? And if I am watching darkness, why should I be doing this? What I'm listening to, what is it that I'm listening to? Is this light or is this darkness? What is this reflecting and revealing to me? And how is this affecting me in my mind, consciously or subconsciously? Should I be watching this? Should I be allowing my children to be watching this? So yes, our senses are here as a conduit for us to commune and communicate with the Most High and for Him to reveal Himself and His love to us. It's not just for us to gratify ourselves. Okay, so if you want to be a woman who glows, you have to be a woman who is a master of your own senses. And so I'm just going to put up one more slide. This is my glow tip for you guys. As you go through the rest of this week, it's Friday now, so if you go through the weekend and the next week, pay attention to which one of your senses is a dominant sense. Are you driven a lot by what you see or by what you hear, by what you touch, by what you taste? Which one of your senses is a dominant sense for you? And knowing that, you would know what you need to be most on guard for. Like, if you're driven by what you see, you know that you really need to pay extra attention to what you're allowing inside your eyes. If you are driven by what you feel, and for me, this is a big one because I'm a very affectionate person and I really enjoy affection. So I have to be on guard for that because affection I love affection, but that doesn't necessarily mean I need to be expressing or receiving affection from every and any old body. So I have to be on guard myself for that, because there is specific relationships that are ordained and that are approved for certain types of affection to be expressed. Because when that affection is expressed, it's supposed to be expressed again as a way that we understand and experience the glory of God through the expression of affection. It's not just supposed to be just flung far and wide out everywhere just so we can feel good. And then also keep notes, keep track of what is enticing you, of what is standing out to you, of what you're paying attention to, and write it down just so that you know what your triggers are as far as your five senses. So, yes, pay attention, know what your dominant sense is, or maybe you have more than one. Practice also denying that sense. Like if I know that affection and touch is a dominant sense for me, then maybe I should practice not. It's not easy. I'm telling you, I know it ain't easy. It's not easy, but it is possible. And it gets easier. If you know that your eyesight is your dominant sense, and you know you've been watching some things that have been conjuring up things inside you, maybe deny yourself, take control, master your sense instead of letting it master you. And then take notes. Yes, so you can keep track of this, and so that you know it and you can go back to it and see how far you've come. All right, so that's the glow tip today for the glow code and becoming masters of our senses. So now, before we get out of here, I just want to, I said I was going to play a little video for you. And again, this is for the Gloco Collective, our private membership group. The link is in the chat. Click that link and you'll be on the list to become one of our 40 founding members and to be able to join at an extremely discounted price. And inside the Gloco Collective, well, watch the video and I'm going to tell you more about it. So here's the video. It's just going to give you kind of like a little bit of a sense of what's going to be going on inside the Gloco Collective. All right, so that was, just a little glimpse inside the Gloco Collective. There's experts, there's courses. We have the 1-year incubator program. There is the community. We have our own kind of private social network where we can message one another, our own directory where you can see who all the other members are. We can form kind of mini groups inside the group. It's super dope. Launching in 2022 in the new year. So let me add this to the stream so you guys can see that. Yes, the Gloco Collective private membership group launching in 2022. I'm going to put the link down in the description box also so that you can fill out that form and be on the list to join at the extremely discounted price. And so imagine the possibilities. What if I told you there's a community designed specifically for you, specifically for the around the way girl who is unashamed of the gospel? Well, there is. It's called the Gloco Collective. It's where I'll be curating and creating content for women of faith. We're a community of Bible-believing women at various stages of spiritual development and from a myriad of Bible-based faith traditions. This community is for women seeking to grow in their spiritual journey and connect with other women who are seeking to do the same. What sets our community apart is that we cater to real women with no pretense, puffery, or pomp. That means I'm not over here trying to put on airs like I got it all together, because I don't. Your girl be struggling with stuff too, but I think it's a mistake to feel like you cannot work until you're done struggling. No, we have to lift as we're climbing. So I'm still climbing, but just because I'm still climbing doesn't mean that I can't be working in my mission to lift other women too. So I'm not ever going to be out here telling you I got it all together and I know it all and I'm this and that and the third. Nope. She has issues too. She has to repent for things too. She's still struggling with things too. She still has appetites too. And I know you do too. But the point of the Gloco Collective is for us to work together to strengthen and edify one another, to encourage one another to keep moving in the right direction. So no puffery, no pretense, no pomp. We're savory and sucker free over here. So yes, when I say savory, we are trying to be the salt of the earth, but we're sucker free. We can admit when we need help. We can admit when we going left. We can admit we've been some places and done some things. Okay. So if you can relate, Gloco Collective, go ahead and hit that link in the chat so you can become one of the founding 40 members. So the Kingdom Inheritance Incubator, what I was telling you about is our 12-month program. So each month, a new masterclass will be released to you covering 12 different biblical principles. And the intention is that by the end of the year of us together having this mastermind experience together, that we will all be prepared and purposed to create lives worthy of a crown, because we really are royal. We really are daughters of the King. And so this 12-month program is supposed to be giving us kind of the tools we need to really live that out in our daily lives. All right. So in this curriculum, as a member, you would have exclusive access to the incubator. Like I said, for 12 months, each month you will get a 4-part masterclass that is intended to help you unlock your inheritance, which is kind of what God has given you, what he has bequeathed to you as his daughter. So we're going to be learning about the meaning, the proper function, the biblical representation, and the practical application of 12 different biblical principles. Gratitude, love, optimism, and wisdom. That is GLOW. So those are the first 4: GLOW: gratitude, love, optimism, wisdom. Providence, prayer, humility, temperance, discipleship, blessings, light, and culminating in oneness, because actually oneness is kind of like the goal. That is what is kind of like the end goal of our lives, is oneness with him. So we're going to really talk about that, because I don't think it's something that we really, you grow up in church and you have service and you kind of get into these traditions of this is how we do things, but you don't really understand kind of like underneath what these words mean, what humility means, what it looks like, how it's practiced, what is a blessing. We kind of know a surface what a blessing is, but what does it really mean? How does it function? How does it manifest in real life? What are the two sides of a blessing? So this incubator is intended for us to really kind of go deeper in real understanding of some of these biblical principles, and kind of bouncing ideas off of one another and helping each other grow and move forward in our journeys. And so again, these are just some of the benefits of being a member. You're going to have the incubator. You're going to be invited to live events that are going to be facilitated by women of excellence. Some of them you saw in the little commercial that I played. We're going to have, again, our private social network where we can virtually commune with one another without having to be necessarily on Facebook with ads and distractions and things like that. And you're going to have access to courses in the Glow Code Academy. Right now, the Reclaim Your Radiance course, Self-Defense for the Saints course, is a course on, again, recognizing the tricks of the enemy and knowing how to bob and weave when we need to. And then Success That Can't Be Shaken. It's a course on learning what success looks like and how it is achieved from a biblical perspective, from a faith-based perspective. So there's lots of benefits to being a member of the collective, and even more if you choose to be one of the 40 founding members. And then also you can head on over to niccipage.com and you can get you a shirt to represent the clique. Okay, Believers and Baddies, fly girls who are walking by faith. So I don't know if you can see there, that's my girl Lyris Cross, plus size supermodel, winner of Project Runway. Yes, she is down with the Glow Code family. And then my girl Aticia, Good Thing Official. You can look them both up. I'll put their links in the chat as well, but you can go get you a hoodie, you can get you a t-shirt, and just support the Glow Code in that way. So I think we are at the end. I'm gonna encourage you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. And as we always say here before we leave anytime, I want you guys to always know the code, live the code, light the world. Okay, so like, comment, subscribe, hit the link in the chat so that you can get the information and get on the list to be a founding member at an extremely discounted price for the Gloco Collective. Follow me on all channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, niccipage.com. That is the wrong. Okay, I meant to put that one up. Okay, yes. So follow me on all channels, and I will see you guys soon. And let your friends know, like, a lot of times what is kind of popping on these YouTube streets is the YouTube beefs, the celebrity gossip, the this, the that, and the third. We're not doing that here. So we're going to have to help. I need your help in helping me to share my message and share the Glow Code with your sisters, with your sorority sisters, your aunties, your cousins, your play cousins, and all of them. So if you can just tag a couple of people, share the page, suggest the page to a couple of your friends or family members who you think would benefit from or would be gravitated or interested in faith-based content that's not like too, like I said, is we keep it real over here, but we doing it with faith. If you have a friend who is an around the way girl who's unashamed of the gospel, please introduce them to the Glow Code. All right, I think this has been going on for about half an hour or more. I'm not sure, but I'm ready to cut out of here. So know the code, live the code, light the world. I will see you all soon, and I'll be back in another couple days because, like I said, I'm trying to go live 3 times a week. All right, so I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.